Hello, 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 and welcome to Just for the Love of Stamping Paper Crafts, where I share each week some craftical tips as well as some paper crafting ideas so that you can spend less time in your craft room. So tonight we are featuring the Hello Irresistible stamp set by Stampin' Up. I'm super excited about it. It is a new online exclusive. And if you've been following along on social media, maybe other demonstrators, or maybe you're tuned in to Stampin' Up, then you probably would have seen all of the new fun online exclusives that came out here on March 1st. And what does that mean, online exclusives? That means product that is specific and exclusive to ordering online only. You will not find them in any of the catalogs at all. So anyways, as I'm sitting here getting ready to share some of the fun projects with you, I realized I don't even have my mug here to share with you tonight. So you guys can just kind of guess as to what mug I'm drinking out of today. And we'll go from there. Maybe that'll stir up some conversations. So hello, hello. Be sure to say hello. Let me know who's joining us, whether you're catching this live or via replay. I'm sure that there is something to inspire you and something that you can take away maybe as a practical tip. So I'm going to turn my camera down so you can take a look at some of the new fun product that's available as the online exclusive only. So I just wanted to kind of share with you what that could be. Uh-oh, for some reason that camera isn't working. Okay, just a sec. Maybe I need to push it in a little bit or give it like a little wiggle. Oh boy, oh boy. Why does it not want to work? Okay, hashtag Joys of Tech. I'm going to just unplug it and plug it back in, maybe upside down. Buttons here. Here we go. We found it. Okay. You know what? Maybe my computer knows it's late at night and, you know, it just wanted to be out partying instead of showing up for y'all. Anyways, I just wanted to share with you some of the stamp sets, some fun things that are happening in the studio this month. Well, not really the studio, but the online studio where you can catch us online doing fun. So tonight, this is the stamp set that I'm going to be playing with, the Irresistible Blooms. This is one of the online exclusive products that are available right now. But I also wanted to share, look at this cute Easter Bunny stamp set. So this is the bingo that we're doing on March 18th, if anyone's interested. This is the stamps that you'll get as part of your kit. So let me know if you're interested in that. That order is going in here on Monday night. And Friendly Gnomes. This is our card night next Sunday, which is going to be super fun. I don't even have the cards designed yet to show you, but trust that they will be fabulous, fabulous cards. And in fact, I'm going to show you some inspiration for a card that I made last weekend at a stamp camp that I was participating in. And I kind of changed it up from using the stamp set that was featured to this fun stamp set here using Friendly Gnomes. Isn't that cute? Super cute. There's all kinds of fun things you can do. But you know what? If that stamp set's one you have already or it's something that you want, feel free to substitute that with something else. Okay, now let's get back to the Irresistible Blooms. Here it is right here. That stamp set also has this super fun coordinating die set. But you know what? I want to share a tip with you because I've just pulled open this stamp set and dies this week. And I haven't done anything with the dies yet. And they seem to be, once I run them through my cut and emboss machine, they tend to bend a little bit. And I think that that's because my boards are a little bit bent. But what helps with that is when I use a magnetic sheet. So I'm just going to pull out a magnetic sheet that I'm going to use. And let me show you a little tip to make this super easy to cut. So all I do is I take the board that this comes on, well, the cardboard backing. You're going to line it up like so. And this is kind of going to stick because there's metal already on here, right? And you're going to go ahead and just take your craft scissors and just snip it so that it ends up being the same size. Just like so. So hello, Sherry, welcome. Okay, so we've got that going. So now I'm just going to quickly transfer everything, but while I do, I'm going to just show you. So there's a fun border that comes as part of that set. Here is a really fun die that's a circle, a frame cutout of sorts. And then we have the flowers. So these dies all coordinate with the flowers to cut them out. So you don't have to fussy cut. So if you're someone who doesn't like the fussy cut, know that this is an easy solution for you. But I know some of you love fussy cutting, and that's okay. I'm not one of those who can sit endless hours cutting and cutting and cutting. However, it is quiet. It is therapy for some. So definitely, if that's your jam, you can cut as opposed to running these through the machines. But I'm just taking off all these little tiny pieces just to kind of make sure that they're all there. And just like that, now I don't have to worry about them falling off that board, right? And they're in here. So I don't know if you noticed, but when I was taking them out of the package, they all come packaged so that the sheet or the cover page, the description of what the product is and how many are in the set, it usually comes tucked in the envelope like this. But a little tip, someone was saying, you know, they get very frustrated when they go to close this or open it and it keeps catching on the dies. So a real simple little trick for that, it's really simple. If I can get this out, look at, maybe I didn't double check to make sure it was the right width. What I'm going to do is I am just going to turn that around. So I'm going to make sure the dies go to the front and not where the flap is. Then that way the dies will not get caught in with the flap. Make sense? Makes sense. All right. So as I get that all slid in here. So just curious, what are you guys up to today? Is anyone crafting in their craft room right now? Sitting, kind of catching this, maybe sitting back, trying to play a little bit. See, and now the little tab is on the other side and it will never ever get in the way of your dies. They won't get lost, they won't come out. So there's a little tip for you as you put those aside. So that's the stamp, that's the dies, and then we've got this absolutely gorgeous designer series paper stack. So there's actually a lot of paper that comes in the stack. Now this might be a mix of two packages, but this is called the Hello Irresistible 6x6 paper stack, and there's 48 sheets of paper in this. So you get 4 sheets double-sided of each design. But look at the beautiful colors. And for those of you who've been following Stampin' Up! For a long time, you'll know that this beautiful paper or this beautiful color is actually one that disappeared a while ago. Some of you might even have that stashed in the back. You were watching the Oilers lose in the Brier. Oh, okay. So, okay, that actually didn't make sense to me, dear Sherry, watching Oilers lose. Oh, and the Brier. You're watching both those things at once. I read that to be that the Oilers are losing in the Brier, and I was like, what? That's hockey and curling all together. Oh, maybe I've had a little something to drink tonight. Okay, anyways, you kind of see these. Again, it's just a whole bunch of the same kinds that you end up getting, but it's such beautiful paper, like so beautiful. So I highly recommend you grab that. It's not something that's necessarily going to be there all the time, or it might. We don't know. All the products that you find, they're on the online exclusive, can come and go whenever. So go and check that out because there's a lot of fun things, including a trio pack. There's this trio pack of dies, or not dies, embossing folders. They are super cute, they're fresh and new, and they're going to be great for your spring and summer projects. Look at the dots. These are like really thick dots actually. I ran them through my basic white today, and check that out. Look how deep they are. It's almost like you're walking on that pebble, what do they call it? Like the mat, the safety mats in like the kids parks and stuff. Anyways, it's super cool. And then of course, the classic letters. Anyways, just a little inside peek as to what you'll find over there, if that's something that interests you. But I know you're here to see some fabulous, fabulous projects. So let me create one for you. We are going to create a little card. So I'm going to cut this card down to be a 4 1/4. Actually, I'm going to score this at 4 1/4 first. 4 1/4, and we're going to trim this to 4 1/4. So we're actually going to just make a 4 1/4 by 4 1/4 card. 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 is your normal size, but that's the size we're going to make today. And then I'm also going to pull out some of this beautiful paper. Let's try this flowers. It's already all done. It's already all splattered. I just love that. So if you're someone who maybe, just doesn't feel like stamping one night, or you're in a hurry to get out the door with a card and you don't have time to pull out all the tools and all the gimmicks, well, this paper is already set for you so that you can get going with minimal effort. So let's use our Stampin' Seal and put that on our card. I'm just putting 3 strips on like that to get it going. Then we are covering this up like so. Isn't that absolutely beautiful? Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, but we're not done yet. I'm going to use the same paper, and I'm trimming this again to 4 1/4. So you can actually make 2 cards out of this if you wanted. Actually, that's not true, because I'm trimming this to 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. And you're going to ask why. Well, the reason is I want to use the dies. So we're going to use the dies, and we're going to cut out a beautiful, beautiful frame using that circle. Here it is right here. And we are just going to run that through a cut and emboss machine. And it's going to give us a beautiful, beautiful cutout. So let's quickly do that here. So okay, giving this a roll, cranking it through. We are making pretty paper crafts tonight. I'm pretty excited. Now, I do have something special to show you after this, where I have to make a green project. And you will see why. So see how I cut that out, and then all the little pieces that tuck behind, they just fall out. And if you need some assistance with that, just pull out your little tool and give it a brush, and they'll all fall out. Then you can just put them in a pile, stick them in your recycle bin, and you are good to go. Okay. So of course you're going to want to try and center that the best you can. Now, being that I sit in a chair as opposed to standing, I prefer to stand to use my cut and emboss machine normally, but tonight for this, I'm still in a chair. So we're just going to layer that like so. Uh-oh. So I don't know, my cutting was kind of wonky. So you know what, if you see some pieces, you're just going to trim it down either with your paper trimmer or a big pair of scissors, just so that you can get all of that color kind of washed off, but it still look absolutely fabulous. That just does wonders for the card. I just love how that absolutely pops. Love, love it. Then there's so many fantastic words that come with that stamp set. We can do a thank you, a hello, or hooray, it's your day. So let's try and do that. Which one should we use? Let's use a thank you. Now, there's no frames that actually come with this, but There are, like, you could probably stamp in the little flower cutout, but I don't want to do that. So I'm just going to stamp. We have some paper left over as part of the cutting that we did. And I don't have the little sticker on the back yet, but that's okay. You guys get the drift. Now I'm actually going to stamp with Soft Succulent. We could use black. Actually, I changed my mind. I am going to stamp in black. We're going to use black. So with the black Memento ink pad, this is a stiff pad. Like, this is a very solid pad. So you just want to make sure to get the ink on this, because this is also a solid, it's got a solid line on the stamp. It's not a fine line image. You just want to make sure you do twist, twist, dab, dab, twist, twist, dab, dab. Do that a couple of times just to make sure you get that fully inked. And then you can go ahead and stamp your cardstock. I'm just going to push that down and let that sit a little bit. Okay. And there you go. I've got a nice little thank you there. And then I'm just going to use my simple chamois. We're going to clean that up. And then it's nice and clean to go back in the box. Now that that's cut out, you can do two things. You could just cut it out straight, or use your cutting machine and just kind of put a little thank you here. But you know what? I am obsessed. I don't know why. It must just be the year. I'm obsessed with cutting. This completely takes me back to when, you know, you didn't have all the fancy embellishments or the dyes or all of the things. And to make everything cute and fancy, you cut it out. You cut it out with your scissors. So although I don't like to fussy cut, I do like to fussy cut for certain projects, but this is easy too, because I'm not making a whole bunch of them. I'm making one card, right? So I'm just cutting around to kind of leave a white border edge around everything. And did you see, like, that actually dried and absorbed into the paper pretty quick. I probably shouldn't be touching it directly, just because, you know, your hands sweat. You might have oils on your fingers and it could smudge the thank you, but I did pretty good, like so. And then of course we're going to use dimensionals to pop that up. I'm just going to put 2 of them on. Now before I pick that up, I just want to try and figure out where on my card I would like to set that. So I'm just kind of playing around like so. Do I want it right in the center? That's actually kind of cute. That doesn't hurt. Do you want it down the bottom? And actually, I really do like it in the left corner, just because the K goes off that way. So I'm going to go ahead and put that there. But before I do, I don't know. This is good enough. This is a beautiful card and you can leave it like this. But I always want to just add that little bit extra. I don't know. It's just what I do. It's just extra. So here is some crinkled white ribbon. I love, love, love this ribbon so much. I use it on everything. You can color it. You can leave it white. And in the spirit of freshness, we are going to leave that white. And I'm just going to kind of tie this up like a bow, just kind of like that, not actually tying it. And I just want to see. Yes, I think that'll work. Now the problem is I've already put my adhesive there. So let me put a little strip of adhesive right there. And we are going to mount that ribbon. We are mounting that ribbon, but I'm making sure that that ribbon isn't going over the edge, because I do want to make sure that this can go into a card afterwards. So I think like so. You might have to add a little bit of more adhesive. I probably didn't cut as much ribbon as I probably should have. I was being sparing. Trying to anyway. Okay, there we go. Like so. And then now you can just layer this over top and just fuss with it, pull it out, and it's super cute. You might have to just trim. I'm going to trim the little tail a little bit. And look at that. It's just a lovely, cute little card. If you have extra embellishments, you can put them around. But it's just a really nice, simple wow card, all with the designer series paper as well as the frames. I just love it. Love it, love it. Yeah, and the font, Sherry, is absolutely beautiful. So we've got that. But look at, I have it kind of pre-done already in the tranquil tide color. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? Oh my gosh, I just love it. So I'll post pictures of those cards tomorrow, and I'll add the thank you to this as well. And then you can see that on the Just for the Love of Stamping page. So that's a fun project right there. Now, another one that we have is with the beautiful, beautiful paper. I want to decide, do I want all leaves? Do I want flowers? I do need something with the greens, and I'll show you in a moment why. Like, look at how pretty that is. I didn't get a chance to show you that one. That's almost like an under the sea look. So gorgeous. Okay, here. This one, I think I'm going to use this one because it's got a lot of green tones. This isn't the actual, like, doesn't stand out as absolutely gorgeous paper to me, although some of you who like the more neutral colors, pardon me, that might stand out for you. But this is a really great paper for trimming out the leaves so that you can cut the leaves to go with already designed flowers if you wanted to cut out the flowers and make a beautiful flower card that way. Am I going to do that today? You know what? Let's do it. Let's do it. But before I do, we're going to cut something else out of this piece of paper. So I'm pulling out one of the die sets from the catalog. This is the mini pocket and envelope dies. Now this makes really super cute treats or treat holders. And in fact, I'm going to grab this as well because I want to make a label for this. We're going to bring back, let's bring back the cut and emboss machine. Now I received a request to show ways to make beautiful cards or packaging as a way to give out product samples. I've got a girlfriend who is selling product for a company. I've never actually heard of it before. Maybe some of you have. It's called Forever. And she has some samples that she wants to kind of hand out. So I'm going to make a project, actually, and that other card too. So someone tonight is going to get a sample of the products or of the cards that I make. What you guys are going to have to do is just use the hashtag option. And we are going to use hashtag, what should we use? Hashtag Irresistible. Although is that too hard to spell for people? No, let's not do that because that might get, just because it's determined, like it has to be exact, otherwise it won't go through. So let's say hashtag hello. We'll say hashtag hello for your chance to kind of win the samples from tonight. So I'm putting through the pocket on here. Hello, hello to everyone who's just joined us. So glad you could join. We've got some fun projects happening here with the Hello Irresistible bundle. And as well as using the mini pocket dies. Okay, so we've got that cut out. Oh, I didn't end up cutting this. So I'm going to use, remember that scrap from the first card? I'm going to use that to cut out a couple of labels. So instead of bringing it back, I'll just do it behind the scenes here. Know that I'm cutting out some labels. Ooh, I have to put the music on. So for those of you who were part of Make It Monday last week, got a chance to hear the lovely music. And so since this is like in the evening, we are going to add some of that lovely music to my craft. And then that way, when I have these little moments where I'm cutting, you're not falling asleep. It is late, right? Anyways, here it is right here using this. So we've got the little label. Okay, now that we have that, I'm going to go ahead and trim off some leaves. I'm just going to turn that music down just a little bit. I think it's a little bit too loud. And I need to take my glasses off so I could see. And we're just going to, oh no, I'm trimming the wrong thing. Oh my gosh, you guys. Ah, can I cry? I need to cry. I have to recut that out. Okay, you know what? I've got one already cut, but you guys saw that process. I'm just going to have to make another one. I wanted to cut out the leaves. So when you go to cut out your leave paper, if you're following along this exact same project, just make sure you keep in mind the spacing, like put it as close to the edge as possible so that you can cut out some of these leaves if you want with some of the paper for another project, because we're going to tie this to go with the lovely flowers here. Okay, and then I'm just going to quickly cut some of these. Again, I could use the dies. I have the cut and emboss machine, but to save you guys time, because by the time I pull it over and I fuss and I get it moving, it honestly sometimes is faster to just cut it out. And that is what I am doing right now, just to get the one little flower to go with our project. Now, of course, if I was having to do a whole bunch of these, you can be sure I'd be standing there with my machine, but it's also not necessary, because these little paper scissors, you don't want to use the great big ones. You definitely want to use the little ones. They work a whole lot better. But there, now I've got some leaves that automatically go with the flower. It looks like I've stamped them, but I didn't. It's just paper, right? Okay, so we're going to pretend that this one isn't cut, and I'm just going to show you. It comes out when it's cut, it's scored, and it's ready to go. So you're just going to fold along all the score lines like so, and then use a little bit of glue. I just use the multi-tombow, put a little bit on the sides, and close it up. Now, if you're using this as a pocket, you may want to use your product sample to stick it in ahead of time. So here's a product sample that I'm using. So I'm just going to kind of tuck it in, then I'm going to put the glue on, and then this. And the reason is this could be a little bit thicker than what I would have closed it at if it didn't have the product sample inside. And then I can just give it a pull. So like I said, I have one done already here. And so here it is right here, this lovely little sample. And what is this? Some aloe vera and beer propolis. It's a tooth gel. This is like a toothpaste. So someone's going to get to try this toothpaste. You know, it's probably always good to have, especially in your purse or your bag, for when you're on the go, or if you're in an airport and you need to stop and like refresh yourself. That might be a great way to do it. Okay, so here is one of the labels, and I'm just going to give that a little stamp. You know what? Let's say hello. There is a hello stamp in here. I think that that'll be perfect. Now, I probably would want to use a darker ink, but because, so I didn't talk about this yet. If you guys are stampers though, I know you're already in the know and you know this, but there is going to be, it's official, there is going to be a color refresh happening in the next catalog that comes out here May. And Tranquil Tide is one of the colors coming back. Now, sadly, I did let mine go, so I don't have it here to use, but know that that color is going to be coming back, along with maybe some others, or maybe some brand new ones. Instead of using black, I'm going to use soft succulent, because I think the mixture of the yellow with the Tranquil Tide is really blending nicely with the soft succulent. So let's stamp hello. Let's hope that that works. Look how lovely that is. Oh, I love it. I love it. Okay, but there's still a lot of white space, because I probably could have used one of the other words that's a little bit bigger that would really fill up the space. So for instance, like hooray, it's your day, but I didn't, and that's okay. We've got the hello, but I'm going to add some splatter. I just love that stamp. You don't have to flick. You don't have to make a mess. You can just add some splatter to that. So we'll just add that to the block, and this looks a lot like, kind of like a mixture between Calypso Coral and Blushing Bride. So let's find the Blushing Bride stamp. I think that color will be very nice. So for those of you who don't know, I do stamp most of these right on the go. I do work full time. Finding extra time to stamp is very, very challenging. So a lot of what I do, you guys kind of get my thought process on the go, which isn't necessarily the greatest either, because I have a hard time coming up with ideas. But I don't mind coming up with them so that you don't have to spend the hours and time trying to figure it out yourself. So hopefully you find some inspiration on this channel or on my Pinterest channel or Instagram. because there is lots of different things. And if there's something you need to come up with, just like this project that I'm doing for my dear friend Isa, you can let me know. And you know what, you might just be pleasantly surprised what we come up with, and then you just copy it. You just copy it, recreate it. And then I feel like I've done my job, because I want to help busy moms, fur baby moms, any kind of moms, spend less time in their craft room and more time doing other things with the people that they love. Okay, so I think, look at that. I think that will look so lovely. I think it's cute, just like that. So we're gonna tuck that in. I'm gonna go ahead and put a little bit of adhesive on the back of that. There we go. And just kind of tuck that in like so. And then we need to add some bling bling. Now, as part of this offering, there were some fun frosted backings. However, sadly, they're not available right now, but they may come back. They may come back. So I wanted to kind of share those with you, but maybe I ended up putting them far, far away. So we will look for those and embellish that a little later, but that is just a super fun way. So if you're someone who gives product samples out for your business, or maybe you've got a little thank you or something you're doing for your team, this is like a cute little way to gift it, but it also perfectly fits a gift card. So if maybe you don't have samples, this is like a great gift card idea holder. So again, I'll post some pictures of that tomorrow on Just for the Love of Stamping, and you can kind of see that in full-fledged. I think that is a lovely little gift. Now, I also wanted to make a card kind of highlighting and showcasing that as well. So I'm going to pull out the Blushing Bride. Now, I said I was going to do some of these projects in the greens, but it's not working out this way. So if my dear friend Isa and her daughter are watching, I'm sorry. The greens are just not jumping out at me tonight. And sometimes you just have to go where inspiration takes you, right? Okay, so actually I realize I have to turn this way. I'm scoring this at 5.5. And what I'm going to do is make a cute little gift card holder, which I'm hoping is also going to work for these samples. So I'm going to cut this down to 4.25. Now, before I get too far, let me see. Oh, this is like this is not going to work with this size of card, what I wanted to do with that. Okay, well, let me still proceed. We are going to trim or score this again at 2.5 inches. 2.5 or 2.25? Let's do this at 2.25. So 2.25 and 5.5 inches is what I've scored that at. And I'm just gonna fold and score along all the score lines. Again, if you're just jumping on, make sure you use the hashtag hello for your chance to get these lovely projects mailed to you. So again, hashtag hello. No, that's okay. Tune in when you can. Some of you may be catching this on replay. So notice that I didn't score this all the way. So this was scored at 2.25, and that was on purpose because I want to tuck that this way, and my card is going to look like this. We are making a lovely gift card holder that you can use to give little samples, money, gift cards in. But I want to put a little notch in this first, and normally I would use a punch of sorts. Oh, you know what? I think I've got my punch up here. So this is something else that's on the online exclusives, people. Super exciting. Circle punches are back. Okay, except not this one. But we'll just pretend that this is a 2-inch circle punch. The 2-inch and the 1.75-inch circle punch are back. But because I'm limited in travel, I only have what's around me to be able to play with. And so this is what I'm using. But you could use your 2-inch circle punch, or you could use your 1.75 circle punch. And you're just going to trim that just to have a nice little notch in there to make it easy to pull things out. Now I am going to use some tear and tape. So I'm just going to pull out some tear and tape. And the tape's only going to go on the ends. So only on the ends here, right up to the edge, like so. And that is to allow this to close up, seal, and be good to go. Okay, now we're just going to use the pokey tool to help lift some of that up. Get that double backing off. This is a lifesaver if you have like nails that don't cooperate, or maybe they're not long and sharp to help easily peel that. That tool helps dramatically. Okay, and just like that, it's sealed. And see, I can go ahead and tuck this in. Now, this was too big for this. Now, I probably could just, let's see, I probably can. I'm going to fold that afterwards and tuck it in. Look it, that'll work. That will work. Okay, but I'm not going to force it yet. We're going to let that adhesive stick. And now I need to add some more fun stuff. So we're going to pull back out that splatter. We're going to pull out our blushing bride. And we are going to have a little bit of random fun. So I'm just going to randomly stamp like so. And now we've got some pattern there. Okay, but now on this side, let's decide. We've got all this beautiful paper to choose from. Beautiful, beautiful paper. We'll put that one aside just because I know we're going to cut that out to use for flowers. Now we could use some plain colored watercoloring type things, but look how beautiful that is. I think we should use some more of that paper that we previously used on that other card. So let's not waste any of it. Although I did cut a pretty big piece. So here are the scraps. So I think we're just going to use this one. Oh, except look at that. But that's okay. It's not quite covering that whole spot, which means we just need to find something else to cover that spot. And what is it going to be? I'm going to use the backing of this. Ooh, or maybe that paper. So let's trim this down to the size of the inside of that card, which is 4 1/4. Now I want the lines to go up and down. So I'm actually going to make sure the 4 1/4 goes this way. But I don't want, I want the whole size of the card. So we're going to do 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And then that way, this is going to go in the whole card. Now, some of you might cringe because I very well could have cut off a piece. But you know what? I have a lot of this paper, so I am not going to use it sparingly. I am full out putting it all on. So let me just get that all in here. So the whole, so I got a piece of gunk on there. Oh, look how fun that is. And then I'm going to take that other piece and now we're going to add it here. So when your card is closed, you can still see that beautiful yellow blends in with the flower. So we're going to cut that to 4 1/4. Had to double check to make sure that that is in fact the size. Again, don't throw away your little cutting scraps because they are all useful for something. Adding some adhesive and just adhering that. Do I want to put it like right center so there's lines on both sides, or do I want to line it up right to the end? So you know what? I am doing that. I am centering that. So I have some of those bobbly lines on both sides because then that looked a little bit better, right? Okay. So I think that's so gorgeous. Okay, what is next? Now, there's just so much paper to choose from. Or do we want to add some white on there? You know what? I'm thinking white is the answer. I could keep going with this paper, but sometimes, you know what? Sometimes less pattern is still more. Oh, look how pretty that pattern is. I missed that. We could have been using that on the inside instead of the lines. Oh, that's so gorgeous. Okay, you know what? I'm going to try it. Why not? Let's see how wide that is. It is 3 1/4 inches, just under 3 1/4. So we're going to do 3 1/4 by 5 1/4, or by 4 1/4. So let's try that again. 3 1/4 by 5 1/4. Was it 5 1/4? 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. 3 1/4 by 4 1/4. Oh, look at that. Look how lovely that is. I just love the shabbiness of this look. Oh, and then look, full-fledged flowers on the other side. So depending on what color flowers you want or what size, there's more there that you can cut out. So the possibilities are absolutely endless with this card. Oh, I'm just so in love with this paper. I'm so in love, so in love. Okay, there we go. But now, okay, did I show you how I store all my 6x6 paper? I gotta put this paper away now because I'm kind of done with it. I just use Ziploc bags to put them in. There's a good size that I can get. Oh, except I need to cut out some flowers, so I don't want that in there yet. I don't want that. Oh, and you know what? I still need some leaves. Maybe we will stamp. You know what? Maybe we'll stamp the flowers instead of cutting them out. No, we won't. We're going to cut them out. I'm so indecisive. This is the problem about stamping in real life. There's too many options that need to be made. Okay, so we're going to cut out. We're going to cut a few. Now, do you see how that one is a half cut? We're not wasting that. In fact, I think we're going to even use that for the front of this card. Why not? You are going to use every possible flower you can. Do not throw it away. Cut it out because you can layer over layer and they make great still flowers like on the ends of cards. So for instance, this one that's a half, when I go to put this on, I'm going to put the card or the flower like there on the side, right? And then that way it's still being used and we'll have like a little bundle of flowers to put on here. So I'm sure that this is going to turn out absolutely wonderful. Although I can't even imagine it right now as I'm making it for you. So if you have any ideas, put them in the comments. Would love to see what inspiration flows immediately to your mind. I just saw these end pieces and I say, you know what? Let's use them. We are using them. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put some adhesive on the bottom of that partial one. And we're going to put that down here. I'm going to go ahead and mount that on the side there. There we go. And then we've got this beautiful big beauty. And I'm going to again put dimensionals on it. But hey, maybe before I do this time, I'm going to put that ribbon in behind. So I'm pulling out the crinkled ribbon again. If you do not have this ribbon, you need it. This is a staple in your craft room. I hope it carries over again because it is the most flexible, fun, shabby looking ribbon there is. Plus, it's colorable. You can use all your blends to change it up and make it beautiful. And in fact, you know what? I'm going to do another little flip. We're going to do double. It might be overkill. We'll see. I might end up ripping it off, but I feel like I'm in the game. Let's just make it happen. Let's see what it looks like. Okay. Now I ended up putting it, actually, yeah, that works. I'm happy it works. Sometimes I could be a little picky and I'm like, but today, not so much. It all seems to be working out, right? Sometimes everything just works itself out. Okay, so yes, if you're just catching us, make sure you use #hello for your chance to get these beautiful, beautiful projects sent to you. Now, before I do, I see I've got a gap there a little bit. So I want to squeeze in some of the leaves, but I think I totally did not, the cuts of that totally chopped off all the leaves. So I'm gonna have to find another sheet of that. Now, of course, there is so much you can do. You can use the dies. Don't forget there's leaf dies that come with this set. You can also color these leaves. So if you're not fond of the white, you can definitely color those in to be a color that you want it to be. So I am just gonna trim those. I tried to stamp some. I wanted to do some on window sheets. I was really hoping to highlight some window sheets for you guys today. I do have a little trick or tip to share with you. So before we go, you may want to stick around for that because I do want to pull out the window sheets. I think that this set is also going to be a great bundle to use as shaker cards. So for this card particularly, like, couldn't you just see it popped up with a window sheet and some beautiful sequins in behind? I think that that would make a beautiful shaker card. Window sheets would go well with this. Okay, now, how's that? Oh yeah, see, that is gonna work perfect. This is one of the 3 leaves that I'm gonna just mount kind of on the side like so. And it is going off a little bit, and that's okay. What I'm just going to do is turn it over and snip the excess off. And now all of a sudden my leaf is there. And then that way it kind of leaves the room. It adds a little bit of green. Like, look at that. It just like totally makes that pop. So beautiful, so beautiful. Now all we need is a lovely saying. And so for this one, I think we're going to use that thank you again because I absolutely love it. It's so lovely. Except this time we're going to stamp it in the soft succulent color. I'm going to use soft succulent, but can you not just see how beautiful that tranquil tide is going to be with it? Many of you have that probably still in your stash. Okay, we're just pushing. So do you see that? I tap with this one because this was the regular ink pad. So that was just a tap. But again, I am going to go ahead and kind of cut that all out. So yeah, this is a great little way to say thank you. You could leave, a card with one of these little samples on the table, maybe at a restaurant when you're there, or if you're going through the Tim Hortons or Starbucks drive-through, leave them a little gift. They love it. Every now and then I'll do that to the baristas, and they're just so, it makes their day because they're always the ones there putting the little smiley faces on cups for everyone else. They too need to, be kind of, appreciated. So there's an idea for you to share. Of course, there's all kinds of lovely things. You could tuck tea in, or you could tuck a little note. So many things you can tuck into these little gift card holders. I just love them because it's a regular card size. It fits in your regular envelopes. So again, I've used up all my dimensionals on this pack, but I'm using all the sides, right? Remember that the edges are all puffy dimensional stickers too, so use them up. And we're just going to drop that. You know what? Why not right smack in the center? Look how lovely that is. And then it's a great thank you card. I'm going to open it up and we're just going to tuck that little sample. Now, the only thing left is we might want somewhere to actually write on the inside. So because I covered it all in designer series paper, that might not be the best way to do it. But we'll just add like a little label or something on the inside, or cut a little white piece of paper, actually, or even a piece of vellum, because in that way you can see it through. You just have to remember, if you're writing on vellum, that you use like a alcohol marker for that, just because a pen will kind of press in and leave dents and it might not roll smoothly on it. And you don't want to use a gel pen because that'll smudge. But just a lovely little way to kind of give a gift card, or another way to share your samples with someone to show their appreciation. So yeah, Sherry, that's how I stamp 2 hours later. Although I'm impressed with how these are coming along, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, there was one other thing that I wanted to share with you, and that was using these dies. So this isn't on part of the online exclusive or anything, but it was something I was trying to figure out how to incorporate with this project. And it's all using the new Alphabet dies. Pretty sure it's what it's called. Alphabet a la mode. Sorry, Alphabet a la mode. And so look, just like I showed you at the beginning of this, here's a die that's ready to fall out because it's coming out the side, because I didn't put these back in the way I just showed you. Now I need to get some more magnetic sheets. for these because, as you can see, I've used them and they're all falling apart. But to make sure I don't lose them inadvertently, I want to make sure I put them in the other way because we would hate for one of them to go MIA. Anyways, so what I was going to show you. I want to like pull one of these out, and let's see, which letter do I not have yet? I think I'm missing the P. So I'm going to use some window sheets. So our window sheets, they come 12 by 12. Here, I've trimmed this down to 2.5 by 2.5. But you see, they're just an acetate sheet. You can also use transparencies if that's still a thing in people's houses. Do you remember when in school our teachers wrote on transparencies? Everything they taught us was on that. Okay, just grabbing the mini cut and emboss. So I want to show you these dies. The dies are fabulous. They work amazing with paper, but you can also use them to cut them out to use as a stencil. So we're going to cut out the P for spring. And I'm just going to run that through. These plates are really fresh. Right now for March, we're in the middle of doing a spring cleaning. So you will see some posts because I actually spent a lot of time cleaning these last March and I never got the videos up. So I'm definitely going to share that with you guys. Get that out of the way. Okay, so now I've got that little P. I'm just going to punch it out. Now I probably should have ran it back and forth twice because I'm finding for whatever reason half of it isn't cutting. And I don't know if it's because of my plate, because my top plate is curved, but you would think that would put more pressure on it. Anyways, I have to play with that a little bit more. So hopefully yours doesn't do this as I have to cut mine out. But it's going to be worth it, trust me. So the little center piece, you're just going to save. Put that in a pile. And, oh shoot, I ended up ripping my P. Okay, but I don't want to run that through again. You'll see what I'm trying to get at here. I'm putting this aside, but I'm going to go ahead and use my stamping blends to color that. Now, I need to find Granny Apple Green. That's the color I want to use for this. But I don't want light, I want dark. Well, I guess we're going to use light. So all I'm going to do is you could keep all of these cutouts in the acetate, the letters. I've got a whole bunch actually, and I'll show you here in a sec. So you can just save those to use in your scrapbook pages or put on your cards. They look fabulous. It's actually called ghost lettering because they're like see-through and you can make a statement without it actually popping out on the page. And so I'm hoping to share a project like that with the Make It Monday crew. So those of you who are heart stampers, you check that on Monday. And if you're not a heart stamper, well, you need to become one. And it's so easy. Just sign up for one of the classes, either bingo or card night, or attend one of the other events, and or place an order. And then you're automatically invited to the heart stamper group where we also have a little more fun. Okay, so there you go. Now you've got a colored P. And I'll just show you because I'm going to have to redo that P because I broke it. But check this out. It looks so wicked. It almost looks like melted lifesavers because you use your blends to color the transparency, right? To make fun scrapbook lettering. So give that a try. I think that's a super awesome technique. And again, it's called ghost lettering. It's super fun. You could leave it clear or as is, right? But the whole point, how I came up with these was it's a reminder that you can use your window sheets and your dies. You could even do this with your Hello Irresistible flowers to make stencils. So this way now you've got, you can use the reverse side of this. You don't need to die cut every single time you need a letter. You can just use a stencil and your blending brush, especially now that we have those minis. So let me bring back the mini. Now that we've got these mini blending brushes, it's just a fun, cute way to spruce up your project. Now I was hoping to add this in somehow, some way. into one of these other projects, and it just didn't happen tonight, but let me just show you. Just like that, you sponge it up and you've got your S on your project, right? So you've made your own stencils, all with a little bit of window sheets and some ink. Now to clean them, because this ink is water-based, it is super easy. You can use your simple chamois, that's good enough to clean it, or you can still go ahead and use just a wet cloth, or you can use your rubbing alcohol. If you end up using StazOn ink with it, that's okay too. Rubbing alcohol is what takes that off, but just like that, your die is clean. And then you just use your crocodile to kind of put them all together, punch your holes, and now you can have all of your alphabets on one ring. Now again, do that with your other dies. It doesn't just have to be your alphabets, but again, I love to do banners and different party things. So having letters like this really makes sense for me. So I think, let me just look around. I think that's all I have to share for you guys today. Sure, there's some other ideas, but I'll post pictures. Oh, there is one more idea. Yeah, this is going to cause me to think. So I do have another fun project to make. I promised my friend Isa that I would package it up. This is an overnight mask where you mix these two things together, and this is a fun way to package it. I put it all in with her little instruction sheet. And I'm going to make a little bag topper for it. That was the whole idea. So I'm going to make a fun little bag topper and decorate it again with the same product. And one lucky winner is going to get all of this. So let's see if that's going to be you. So put your hashtag hello in the comments. I'm going to switch the camera over. And that way it gives anyone who's new time to go ahead and put their hashtag in. So hashtag hello. And let's see who the lucky winner is going to be tonight. Okay. Hashtag hello. Let me share that screen so you guys can all see who the lucky winner is going to be. Okay, so remember, hashtag hello is what you're putting in there. While I try and find how I share my screen. Here we go. Okay. So we are starting to collect. I hope you can see this. Yeah, it says that I'm sharing. So we are saying hashtag hello. It is collecting. 5 of you guys have entered. And let's see who that lucky winner is. Sherry! That's 2 wins for you today. Wow, you should probably go get a lottery ticket. Congratulations. I hope you're going to love those projects. I'll put them in a baggie for you for when you pick up your other stuff. And I hope you enjoy those project ladies. Like I said, I will get those pictures kind of taken tomorrow and posted tomorrow night. And yeah, for any of you that are part of Heart Stampers, we'll see you on Monday with some other projects kind of featuring this. And that's it for now. Have yourselves a great weekend, and we'll see you next Saturday.